Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Excuse my background.
It's
Miss Fitzgerald, it is, right? Miss Evelyn
okay.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Well, greetings and welcome, and thank you for being a guest today on our Women in Ag Wednesday talk show. Excuse my voice and everything else. I have COVID,
I,
and I'm here at home and trying to get through it.
I
So,
understand.
yes, ma'am. I didn't want to cancel. I went back and forth, and then God said, "Nope,
Mm.
you have the strength to do it, so go do it."
Right. And be
Yes,
obedient. Thank you for
yes,
that, giving you that strength to do that.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, Miss Fitzgerald, this is all about you today. It's to highlight what you're doing in the community, especially a woman of color. We would love for you to share what you're doing. We want to see how we can connect other people with you.
Yeah.
Specifically, we would love to connect our major partners with the USDA, FSA, Farm Service Agency, and NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Services. That is the objective of this show, is
Mhm.
to do a different form of outreach. So, you know, us women and women of color, we try to come up with something creative, innovative,
Yes,
to
ma'am.
shut them up, shut them up.
Yes.
We bring in the numbers, and that's what they want.
Yes.
So, without further ado, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, where you're from, and what's your mission.
All right. All right. And you know, I should have brought that in here. One moment. Let me grab this piece of paper.
Uh-huh.
Ah, okay. So I don't have it. I don't have it. So that is all right. So I
Okay.
am Evelyn Fitzgerald, the owner and creator of Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies.
Mm.
And it was actually created to solve a problem that I was having.
Okay.
It was a personal problem. Prior to a few years ago, I was diagnosed with alopecia
Okay.
and an extreme form of eczema.
Mm.
So I had bogus doctors just kind of tell me weird things to do that I just didn't think were correct.
Mm.
Like for instance, soaking my hands and feet in bleach and not washing or bathing anymore in warm water, but in cold water. So that just didn't sit well with me. So I've always been into gardening and
Mm.
agriculture. So I grow a bunch of herbs. So it just made me go back and think, hey, I need to go back to my roots.
Mm.
I grow not only to feed my family, I grow to heal too.
Right.
So I got out there and I did experiment with a few oils and a few herbs to see what worked well for me.
Mm.
And it worked. And I did a year of documentation. I'm still kind of old school, so I write a lot down. So I have several notebooks from where I tried different oils. Things worked. So passed it on to my son.
Mm.
He started using it. His barber noticed results. The
Okay.
barber started using my oils. Okay, fast forward, a young lady found out about my oils for my hair. It's called Crown and Glory Hair Serum.
Okay.
So she asked if she could carry my products in a store.
Wow.
So I actually have I sell online, but I have two products that are in a store. So I created a line called Perfect Imperfections line
Okay.
from my garden. And in my mind, I'm thinking these are things that I want to educate youth about.
Mm.
I don't have acres and acres of farmland, but I have space that I can grow with, and I can take those things that I grow with, create a product, and put it on the shelf to market it. There's in school there was a little saying that I pinned on my wall, and
Okay.
it says, "If I can't creatively turn $1 into $10, why do I expect to turn $1 million into 10 million?"
Speak
So
on
I
it.
look at that every day. And this product here, this is called Face It, right?
Okay.
This is a facial steam. The 10 is 79 cents. I
Wow.
sell this for $10. So you
Wow.
can't tell me I can't make a million into
That's it.
10. Okay, because I sell this. People buy this. This is a home facial steam that you pay 80 to 120 dollars for if you go somewhere. And you can
Most
get
definitely.
this in a 10 right here
Wow.
from herbs grown from my garden. So I'm also a Georgia Master Gardener. I'm here representing Douglas County.
Okay.
So I also have been connected to a lot of people. And I met a man that changed my way of thinking about what I do out here in my garden. I purchased rabbits. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody, why do you want rabbits? Well, rabbits are a great benefit to my garden. I use their poop, their
Right.
manure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that led me to fertilizer. I want to be in the fertilizer industry. So
Okay.
I'm in the process now of having my organic bunny grow tested with the Department of Agriculture. I've already started the process.
Oh, girl.
So I'm planning on busting the fertilizer market wide open with this 100% organic bunny
Yes.
grow. You know, why not get into fertilizer and do it organically?
Yes.
You know, we're trying to keep this soil nice and healthy with all the worms and bugs and everything. We want all that in that soil. So why
Exactly.
not feed it manure? Why not? And then the benefit of rabbit manure is cold. You can put it
Yes.
on. If he poop now, I can put it right on my cucumbers and they gonna eat it, love it, you
Right.
know?
It's not hot. It's not going to burn it up.
Exactly.
That's
So I
phenomenal.
invested in them, and it doesn't take long for rabbits to reproduce.
Right. Right. Right.
So
No pun
I,
intended, huh?
no pun intended, but those are the things that Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies, these are things though that I want to teach youth.
Right.
And
Love
being a master gardener allows me that time with the children. About 2 weeks ago, I taught kids how to grow in grow bags with
it. Mhm.
potatoes and tomatoes and bell peppers. You
Okay.
know, I like doing that. I'm also out in the community. I take my rabbits with me to churches, events, and I talk
I love
about
it.
livestock.
Yes.
These are my livestock. They don't have to be big cattle and
That's right.
horses and
Right.
pigs. My rabbits, and these are dwarf. So they don't get no
Oh,
larger than 10 pounds.
oh
So they
wow.
don't take up a lot of space. They
Not
don't.
at all.
Okay. So, but these are things I'm out teaching about livestock. I also have a worm farm. What? I practice
Vermicle.
composting.
Yes.
I don't throw my scraps away. No, I'm reducing my carbon footprint by any means necessary. I
Yes.
got I got to practice what I preach. You know, I have this little saying: "Don't get caught ashy. Drink your water."
That's
Okay,
it.
you know,
That's
I don't use
awesome.
water bottles. We go get the gallons and we use cups. We trying to
Yes.
lessen our plastic use. So Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies is like a company that I want to educate. And if I blow up, hey, I blow up in the process.
Right. You're not gonna. It's all natural, so you fine.
Yeah, you know, I
Mhm.
have pickles that I created. It's nothing that I created. I didn't
Mhm.
reinvent the wheel. I packaged it up nicely into a product, but I made it differently. Like I grew the dill that's in here. I grew the cucumbers that's in here. But guess what? It's a twist. This is a nod to my grandmother.
Huh.
Back when I was a little girl,
Mhm.
my grandmama house was the candy store. If you know anything about
Yes, ma'am. I do. Yes, I do.
okay, well, that was my granny, and she sold big fat hot pickles.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
I cut
Uh,
these up, and I have cayenne peppers that I grow too. So this is Mary Evelyn's hot pickles.
That is awesome.
Cucumbers are 65 cents in the store. Guess what? I did that to these, and I can sell this for $10.
That's right.
So I want to teach the youth that it's entrepreneurship in agriculture because
That's
we
it.
touch everything.
That's it.
Agriculture touches everything.
Everything. It's everything
Look
from the
at you. You
clothes you
in
wear.
media. You're interviewing me.
Yes.
Agriculture led me to media. I have
Right.
a radio show on Hits 92.3.
Wow, nice.
Plant the Seed radio show.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
so and I push agriculture. My mission is to sow seeds of inspiration through gardening and more.
That is
And this
phenomenal.
is my more, all of
Yes.
this is my more.
So how
And
long have you been in the agriculture industry? I know you alluded to your grandmother, so that's one generation. So what generation of farmer are you?
okay, so prior to grandmother, my great grandmother is where I got that from.
Okay.
I was able to watch her grow everything. Before the interstate came, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So
Okay.
in North Nashville, there was not an interstate that went through people's property.
Right.
My grandmother's property happened to be that land. So it took a
Hmm.
lot, but she had a good 2 acres back there that she grew. My papa had a little house out there in the back. She grew grapes, from grapes to tomatoes,
Right.
potatoes. We had the washer out there where you rang it through the little
Mhm.
rolling pin. That's where I'm from. My great grandmother. And then my grandmother was not the grower, but my mother grew flowers. We had the best front yard in our neighborhood.
Wow.
My mother grew every flower, every flower you could name. We had them. Bees wasn't a problem back then
Right.
like it is now. We really had to, because we
Yes.
had everything growing
Pollinators everywhere. I love it.
everywhere.
That's
Yes.
nice.
So it's in my DNA. It is in my DNA. Prior to this, I had a home health care
Uh-huh.
business before COVID. Okay. So that was what I did for a living. I
Hmm.
um, had CNAs. It was an agency where we went out. Well, COVID, I was a small business and it just did not allow me to stay open.
Right, exactly. I know. I know that I had been there, done that. Most definitely know what you're talking about.
Woo! Took a
Yeah.
major hit with that. But it was like, here's your purpose though. Really, I thought that was my purpose. It
Right.
felt
Right.
good, but I still felt like I was working.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
and, and then when you're dealing with kind of depressing diseases such as Alzheimer's and dementia,
Hmm.
it didn't seem like I was getting anywhere. And the
Right.
more
Right.
I walk, because I do the Alzheimer's walk and
Hmm.
things like that, the more I walk, I'm still not hearing about cures. So I was getting frustrated.
Most
I said,
definitely.
maybe this is not my purpose.
Yes.
And so it's like God flung these new doors of agriculture open for me. And I started meeting people like Miss Noreen Whitehead. She
Yes,
freaking
that's our
rocks.
Georgia chapter. Yes.
She rocks.
She is. She's hey, like I said, when he pulls it together, he pulls it together. She's awesome.
He is. If you just let him lead and
That's
just got to
it.
be obedient.
And have to have people like you and Miss Noreen that's out there intentionally in the community doing the work.
Intentionally.
You
Yeah.
know, I when she told me what you did, hibiscus tea. She mentioned that, and I wish I had some right now. I'm sitting there going,
Yeah.
Lord, if I had some of that hibiscus tea.
I know it.
Uh, as far as have you had any experiences with the USDA? I'm gonna kind of go into that a little bit.
I know. I have not.
Wow.
Not at
Well,
all.
that's what our organization is about, is to connect you to those programs. And
Okay.
usually we have an actual representative that's here. I was away in your state over the weekend from I worked in Georgia and had meetings down there last Thursday, and I flew back Sunday night, and then Monday morning I get up with COVID. So I contributed
I'm
totally to the
sorry.
airplane. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the airplane. I was fine while I was in Georgia. It was when I was in the airplane. I wore my mask, and just it's almost inevitable. My doctor said when I went yesterday to get tested, he says everybody's scared. If you're traveling, more
Yeah.
likely going to get it. So, and
Oh,
I've been both vaccinations and boosted. So the president got it. So I know
that's
it's
right.
that contagious.
Yeah.
Long story short, to get to the USDA, I didn't have the opportunity to reach out to connect them, to have them on the show with us, but that's not a problem. Your
Okay.
state is one of those states that are intentional as well as when it comes to the USDA. They could help you further increase your agriculture business. When I say that, there are resources with Farm Service Agency where you can register your backyard or wherever you're growing to get
Yeah.
your farm number. That's free. Second, you could also connect with the NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Services. Well, you're already an expert in it, and that's my job to make sure they see you as such, which brings me to something what I'm going to talk about with our march and our rally and all that good stuff for Minority Women, Farmers, and Children Equality and Inclusion Act in September before the Ag Committee, the President, USDA leaders that really care, that want to make sure equality and inclusion is sustainable there for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm going to be bringing you in with that as well. But back to those resources, FSA also has youth loans, individual farm operating ownership loans, all these loans, micro loans from 50,000 all the way up to 300,000, and
Mm-hmm.
the lowest interest bearing rates that you could possibly get. But you mentioned your son, and I'm like, okay, most of people do not realize those youth loans you can get at a very early age, and up to don't have to pay them back until 18, and may not even have to, because we are working very diligently to put our organization in positions where we could pay it off for them. You understand what I'm saying? So our
Wow.
children don't
Yeah.
have debt coming out of college. They're just like the children that are in FFA, 4-H. That's what we're trying to become, a pilot program to those programs for our children.
Mm-hmm.
Those are excellent programs.
Excellent.
However, our babies are not there.
Yeah.
Those are sustainable programs
Mm-hmm.
where some children get those jumpstart life opportunities at an early age in agriculture, which is going to take them to the day they die. They're going to take them right back to the soil if they get involved in agriculture at an early age and they're groomed properly. That
Mm-hmm.
has not been done over 106 years. My organization, myself, have researched it, had it fact checked by PR firms in Washington, D.C. that write for Bloomberg, said, Tammy, you're right.
Yeah.
It's not equal. It's not, you're not included. You're not at the table. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we want and been working on for 10 years. This year, actually 2023. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be 10 years that we've been
Okay.
going back and forth to Washington, D.C., meeting with Congress members, so forth and so on. We
Mm-hmm.
said, no more. We want to meet with the president, President Biden, who said,
Yeah.
hey, minority women, Black women in particular, helped me become president. Well, here we are, an organization of predominantly minority women
Mm-hmm.
from the East Coast to the West Coast, literally from Puerto Rico back to Hawaii, if you will. We have, I'm sorry, Virgin Islands. We go further
Mm-hmm.
than that, where we have foot soldiers and people in those communities trying to do work to save and educate our youth and help our people with food desert issues,
Yeah.
with crime, with jobs,
Mm-hmm.
recruiting for school, raising the minority farmers count, because we're down to less than 1%. Where we're women, we're just women now that are educating our children, and we have degrees to go with us.
Yes.
So, all that to say, I am thankful to meet you, to bring you out as the experts to connect to these programs. Uh,
Yes.
I will make sure that Miss Noreen is very aware of them. So you have her right there in your pocket. She is
Yeah.
connected as well because she's our chapter leader for Georgia. She works very closely with the USDA, with Farm Service Agency, and NRCS. So
Okay.
that is your plug,
Thank
literally.
you.
Your
Yes.
plug. You are more than welcome, and share it with the world, because that's
Yes.
how we are able to do the show. We enter into agreements with those agencies to outreach to you. I just decided to
Oh,
go this route with outreach because I'm doing it every week and it's more intentional. I'm
that's
not into that same game that most play. So,
I understand. I
yes, ma'am.
understand. Every week I'm intentional because I have Plant the Seed radio show. I'm on every Friday.
Okay.
And it's an hour show. I'm
Mhm.
on and I do the same thing. I'm intentional, even down to the music that I play. Last
Uh,
week I did Fishing 101. I played Trace Atkins,
okay.
Gone Fishing. You
I
know,
love it.
I'm intentional with everything. My opening is intentional. My song are incorporate family because agriculture is family too.
It is.
So
And that's what 4-H
yeah,
FFA teaches. That's how it derived in 1914, the
19.
Smith-Lever Act, where the fundings come out every year. $300 million comes out every year.
Wow.
50 million is allotted every year to youth programs that don't reach our youth. So that's
I'm
where I'm
aware.
at. Yes,
I'm a
50 million, and
4-H
that's
kid.
forever. That's forever.
It's true.
And that's what our organization is trying to become, the one of those pilot programs. So we're a funder to get those monies down into places to people like you who are
Yes.
intentionally, constantly, and you're not having to go through this whole cycle and the rhetoric of grant fundings and all those head games that are played, and people that hold fundings and do not help support our
Yeah.
efforts. It's just not fair.
It's not.
So
It's not.
so that we got you connected to the USDA, FSA, Farm Service Agency, and NRCS. I want to get back into what you do. What are some of the struggles you've had as a minority women farmer? Because again, although it's a negative, but it's a positive that
Mhm.
other women and people see that they're not by themselves. That we're going to change it.
Yeah. Well, I can say prior to meeting Miss Noreen,
Uh,
and I just gotta be factual, okay? I'm in
please do.
a county. I'm active in my county, but I didn't see many that look like me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did, it was just rare and few, and maybe they were older and just not able to be as active as I am. And because I'm like a ball of energy
Right. I understand. I
for
see that. I love it.
agriculture. And sometimes it's too much though for people. And I
Oh,
am who I am, but I'm still me, and I still come out and I help in the community.
yes,
And
ma'am.
then when I get my radio show, I was leaning on my fellow gardeners to come on and maybe teach about flowers or teach about soil. They kind of looked at me like, what you doing with an agricultural show? Is this a podcast? What
Yeah.
you doing? So I didn't get the support. And at the time when I was getting ready to give up, I ran into NWIAA. And to see so
Yes.
many people that look like me, it brought me to tears because I
Thank
was getting ready
you.
to call this radio station seriously. I was getting ready to quit that. That was going to be my last week because I couldn't get the support that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
A woman show is rough
It's
trying to run a
rough for
radio show.
me. Yes,
It
ma'am.
is, and a whole Fitzgerald's Garden of Goodies. I sell online, so I have to come home, package up, and I'm always intentional. So every package that I send out, it has a plant the seed package, free
Okay.
seeds for our pollinators. It could be
Yes.
sunflower seeds, marigolds, zinnias,
Mm.
just whatever I drop in there.
Mm.
So I'm very intentional. So as a Black
I see.
female, I didn't see many like me. And when I leaned on others to get
Mhm.
support, I really didn't get it. I kind of got looked at like, what you know about agriculture?
Right. Although
You
we're the
know,
one who actually been growing since we came from Africa.
say that.
Hello.
Remember, I got the braids. I hid some seeds in my braids,
Okay. I love it. I
But
love
you're
it.
looking at me like, what am I doing in agriculture?
Yes.
So that's what I got. I got that whole, and then also I'm very intentional with my dress. So I wear overalls that are intentional. I put bunnies on them. I put
I love it.
pitchforks. I'm very put together, I
Yes.
guess you want to say. When you
Mm-hmm.
see me, my yellow boots are known around Douglas County.
Okay.
So they looking at me like, she just in it for fashion, or what is she? What does she know about growing? But I grow peanuts. I get out here and get dirty. My nails don't look good like other girls. These are gardening hands.
I have gardening hands, but I get my nails done maybe once a month. That's which is horrible. But I'm just one of those like, hey, I put on the pink gloves. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I
Yeah,
feel you. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, I just kind of got looked at a different way. And now that I met NWIA, they opened my eyes to a whole new world. I met Alexis Harris. She is,
Yes.
oh my goodness.
Girl, she running at him, isn't she?
Woo!
I am so excited for her. Our sisterhood is something
Y'all
that's never been
strong.
done in the world.
Yeah.
And when I say numbers, we have 11 chapters over in Africa. The sisters are just they waiting and trying, and I'm going as fast as I can, trying to see how we can get them some money over there through an international program,
Oh, I
and for
want to
them
go.
to become the experts to help their babies over there. Like
Right.
they're growing on their farms, but nobody won't let them in or respect them as actual agriculturalists or growers or farmers, period, because we're women. And then you put our skin tone on it. It's hard. But the thing is, I know that this president is going to change it
Yeah.
in this administration, because as I said, we have Republicans that's leading us.
Okay.
Yes, yes. If you go out to a
Okay.
website, I'm neither. I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm independent. But at the
Yes,
same time, I'm gonna go with who's helping us. And
that's
those
right.
those men, they believe in what we're doing. And like Tammy, what you're trying to do is there. The money's there. You just
Mhm.
need your own people to support you. Period.
You
And
do.
that's what we're going to DC in September for our march, for our hearings, and all that. And I will make sure that you're a part of that conversation and there with
Yes.
us. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Who do you have here? Do you have House representatives that you know?
Regina Ward, and it's another young lady. She'll kill me if she knows. She's always at the event that we have at Fort Valley.
I
Oh,
bet you it's uh
pretty young, pretty woman.
Thomas. Is her
Uh,
last name Thomas?
I
House
can't even think of
representative.
it right now.
Yeah, Regina Ward told me to keep going. What I'm doing, she was
Yes,
blown
she's with
away.
us.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
Regina Ward. We have state representative from Pennsylvania. She's also stepping to the forefront. She's working that whole piece in the background with
Mm-hmm.
congressional leaders. Although she's on the state, she's working with congressional leaders because our leading congressional leader is from Pennsylvania. He's a ranking
Mm-hmm.
member, Glenn
Okay.
Thompson.
Okay.
Um, so it's like we are going to get there this year
Mm-hmm.
because it's time. If we talk equality and inclusion, like you said, there's no
Mm-hmm.
reason you should not be highlighted and supported what you're doing in your community
Mm-hmm.
because you're taking care of this. You see how hot it is right now? The
Mm-hmm.
reason it's so hot is because we've torn up our earth. We don't
We do.
have that's climate things going on. We have a burning earth because we don't take care of our
We
environment.
do.
So we
That's
have to
right.
have people like you in the community that is
Mm-hmm.
literally there doing the work and connecting the next generation. Because I'm not sure about the generation of your generation or my generation or forward, but I do know younger kids are they're that's sustainable. There'll be new farmers coming on board if we have
Yeah.
the right leadership to make sure people understand the simple fact that we're women and we're producers in more ways than one. Period.
That's facts.
Facts.
It is.
It's like, come on, people. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to also hear about some of your how you market your stuff. I heard you say from your website, if you have a website, because I want to make sure we get that out there now. And my assistant, she will start typing that out so we could push out your product. Because
Oh,
that's what
thank
we are
you.
about, is promoting your
Yes.
product.
That is awesome. But
Yes.
it is www.fitzgeraldsgardenofgoodies.com. And the shop is on there. If you're local, I provide gardening services. I come by, take soil tests, tell you
Wow.
what we need to have done. Um,
Girl, you should open up a chapter. Do you have are you a nonprofit or for-profit LLC or?
I'm a LLC.
Still, you come on and open up a chapter there. So therefore you can go for the big grant fundings because that's where grant fundings go to nonprofit organizations and colleges. Now you have some smaller, like Department of Agriculture. I tell people, check with your Department of Agriculture to see if they have individual farmer grants. Also
Okay.
SARE, SARE. That's a subsidiary of the USDA. They have individual farmers. And what you're doing, you can get that grant from them. Have you heard of
Okay.
SARE before?
No, I wrote
Oh
that
yeah.
down. No.
And they're headquartered out of UGA. So you're right there with them. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
where I'm trying to get I plan on getting my master's for agriculture environmentalist from UGA. I
Okay.
want to sign up for the
Wonderful.
fall of this year. Strayer's taking a little bit long getting
Yeah,
my bachelor, getting my paperwork. So,
that's all right. That's all right.
but
It's going
that's
to
the
happen.
goal.
If you consider, because you still get to do what you're doing with your business, but you just
Yeah.
highlight it and elevate it more as a chapter. And what you
Okay.
automatically do as a chapter up under our umbrella, you adopt the 15 years, which will be 15, I keep saying 15, 14 and a half years of our history to help you go for the grants. So you don't have to like recreate, well, you're already up under our umbrella. So,
Yeah.
and we are well known, but we,
Yeah.
not that we're perfect, But at the same time, you don't get where you are having 66 chapters and 14 and a half years later being crooked, period.
Yes, you don't. Now
You know, and
that's another fact.
yeah, I
Fact check
chuckle
that, somebody.
exactly. I chuckle at those who try to um, sly us or bring negative energy or any type of negative tone of who we are,
Yeah.
because I go back to the top leaders who be, if you know numbers and if you're really, a leader, there's no way an organization like us can go and grow the way we have by doing anybody wrong intentionally,
That's right.
period. It
Period.
just doesn't work like that.
Mm-mm. I
Not
told you,
having all
Miss
the
Noreen
infrastructure
embraced
there.
me. You
Hey,
know, I'm serious. When I met NWIAA, Miss Noreen and they embraced me like they have been knowing me all my life.
that's what we're about.
That's a warm feeling to be welcomed into an organization like that.
It's a
It
system
was
because we're
genuine.
supposed yeah, you can't
It wasn't phony.
grow. No. Our thing is to make sure you're elevated, especially when you say something about children, we go crazy. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
trying to help our babies? Because I
Yes.
consider them all our babies. And
I do
anyone
too.
out there trying to help them, because it's hard for our children.
It
It is
is.
hard and it's
It
not
is.
fair. Yes. I'm like, we are highlighting, she's putting your information there. If there's anything else, I want you to leave us with words of wisdom. I want you to say whatever you want to say while you're on this platform before we
Yeah.
close out. I can't go much longer. I feel myself getting
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
But
I
I want you to
understand.
give us, because it'll be other opportunities too, because we're having our second Veteran Women in Agriculture Conference in Atlanta next year in July. We did the
Oh,
first one
I'll be there.
here. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
and that's where you do your booth. You sell all your stuff, honey, and you'll be on program because we highlight the women that's there in Georgia. That's the reason we bring it
Awesome.
there. Yes. Yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
just leave
Well,
us with words of wisdom. If you want to talk about I just love the bunnies, the worms, and
mhm.
it's all just beautiful. The pollinators, you're just there.
It
I love
is. It is. Well, like I said, I preach a lot about plant the seed,
it.
and plant the seed is a metaphor. It means physically plant the seed,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to sow those seeds of inspiration that agriculture does touch every industry across America,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
why not allow our children to know that they can grow some herbs and make something as simple as this. It's
Mm-hmm.
a Yanni steam. I sell this for $30.
Wow.
That's a Yanni steam.
I need that.
So
I mean, I definitely got to make sure we get your products out there. I love it.
yeah, but these are just things that I want our youth. I found out about a forestry camp.
Mm-hmm.
When I found out about that camp, it was too late, but our children didn't know anything about that camp. At the end of that camp, it's a scholarship at the end of that camp. When I looked into the camp, those kids didn't look like me or my son. So that's why I am in agriculture, because I want to push the message to our children. I'm a 4-H kid.
Okay.
I grew up in 4-H, but I went to a private school from
There you go.
kindergarten through 8th grade.
Wow.
And 4-H was all from kindergarten through 8th grade, but I loved it and stuck with it. My dad taught me how to fish at 5.
Awesome.
So if all the grocery stores, if the great apocalypse happened and everything shut down, I can feed my family.
Yes.
I know how to go out and fish. If push come to shove, I can hunt, but I don't want to hunt. But I can grow my food and vegetables and fruits, and still feed my family. So I want to just sow those seeds to our babies that it's okay if you're not a rapper. Right. It's okay if you're not a doctor.
Speak on it.
Okay that you're not a teacher, but you can go out there and plant a seed. Yes. And you can charge $10 a jar for some pickles and dill that you grew. That didn't cost you nothing but your time and a little patience and a whole lot of love. And that's what God tells us to do, is love. And I think we need to love more.
That's it.
It's 310 times in the Bible. That's a lot of times to mention love.
Love. That's it. And that's how everything grows. That's how literally and beautifully. It's when you love.
Show enough. So I just want to leave with that, and I'll leave with this little quote. This is
Mhm.
something else that I keep up on my wall too. And this quote is from Albert Einstein.
Mhm.
Never give up on what you really want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than the ones with all the facts.
Ooh, I
So
love it.
that's Albert
Love it.
Einstein.
That's
Okay.
right.
So I just and I tell my son that,
Mhm.
I leave these around the house. I stick them around the house, just words of
Motivational
affirmation.
nuggets,
It's,
empowering nuggets. Yeah,
yeah,
you have to do that to our children.
that's it. And I got a black son, so I'm trying to equip him and be ready,
Exactly. That's very important.
well-rounded,
Well-rounded. We
agriculture
had our
baby.
leadership. I'm praying they're going to hear us. And when they hear your story and women like you, we have all
Yeah.
over the world, literally, but here in
Mm-hmm.
the United States, to
Mm-hmm.
hear what you all are doing, you have to receive funding. You have to receive the support. It's no other way around it, because you know what? Others have been receiving it for 106 years. So, and that's a fact. And who's going to bring it is a reporter out of Washington, D.C. that's researched it and locked it down for me and turned around and put a copyright on my research and my work. So,
Good.
yes. So,
Yes. Well,
we're going to be okay, sister.
whenever you're ready for me to tell it, I scream it at the top of the mountain. We do
Thank
need a
you
little help.
so much. And one last thing I want you to also, with your product, I was just in Atlanta. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you watch the Atlanta Housewives or the Hip Hop Atlanta or New
Mm-hmm.
York. Yandy. I don't know if you know her, but she's down there in the what they call the railroad, the Underground Railroad area,
Oh
the
yeah.
new area.
Mm-hmm.
She has an all natural skin line. And I know I met her personally, and she's highly interested in working with our organization with some other celebs and WNBA players, our coalition that's
Yeah,
going to be behind us, supporting us. And we need those big names because we're in America. Everybody
we
likes
do.
some B, they love that type stuff.
They do.
So, long story short, was if you please reach out to her if you're ever in the area, just go by there and
Yeah.
tell her, you're with our organization. And
Okay.
I think that you all probably could do business together. That was my point.
Sure enough.
Yes, because she's definitely getting all into the natural stuff. And her store is right there in her restaurant. So she'll be right there. Her name is Yell. And then her name is Yandy.
Yandy.
So
Oh,
with
yep.
well, Miss Fitzgerald, you have blessed me. And again, my apologies for my illness on the show.
That's all right.
But
I
I
thank
think
you for
that we
pushing through.
delivered, and you're connected to the USDA programs. You
Okay.
delivered your message of what you're doing, and hopefully someone that's listening out there could
Yeah.
take what you said and help someone else in the world.
Yeah.
I would love to also, you send us your radio show, because I want to promote that as well. That
Yeah.
is just phenomenal, and we want to support you however you can. You keep up the good work. And you
Thank
guys
you.
heard it from National Women in Ag, Women in Ag Wednesday. It's a great day in ag to make that bag, and that came from Miss Fitzgerald. Have
Hey,
a
I
great
like
day.
it.
Thank
All
you
right.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.